All right, folks. Next up, we have Vargas from Vellum.ai. If you don't mind joining into the thing, perfect. All right, Vargas is the founding engineer at Vellum, and he's one of the geniuses behind the Vellum Personal Assistant. After leaving MIT, Vargas spent the last 6 years, he was really early to this stuff, 6 years, figuring out how to get AI to do all of the boring things that everybody hates to do. And then he took all that knowledge and he put it into the Vellum Personal Assistant. He was extremely early to agents, and he's built a team around them. And as a result, he spent a bunch of time thinking about how coding agents fundamentally change a technical order. Vargas, take it away.
Thank you all. So I want to start with a quick story. It was a dark and stormy Tuesday afternoon, and we had just released a brand new feature. We were super excited, but as launches go, we forgot a corner case. Customers started reporting in that like their workflows were busted, and we started scrambling. We're like, oh crap! Like we forgot this one big case. So let's like pull in all the people involved. Let's get it fixed together. And we got what we needed. We start deploying it, and it goes through our CI pipeline, and that's hosted on GitHub Actions. And if you guys are also users of GitHub Actions, you know that GitHub likes to go down more than we want them to. And so this really important bug fix that we need to go out to protect our business fails right at the last step. And now shit is really hitting the fan. We need to like get all the scripts from the GitHub Actions, like a multi-stage deploy, pull it down. We need to run it. Oh crap, we forgot an environment variable to be able to authenticate to the different registries. We get that stuff going, then run into like an environment or like a versioning issue with our local runtime that like our GitHub Action runner had standardized, and we just keep running into blocker after blocker, and the main problem is that GitHub is down, and we decided like, well, I guess we're just gonna sit here and wait for the developers at GitHub to unblock the dependency that we have on them. And they eventually did. We only lose 1 or 2 customers, and we get unblocked. But fundamentally, the experience that we're having here is that we were renting access to some other company's developer. Right? We didn't have the agency to tackle the problem that we were facing head on. We were waiting for some other organization, some other priority stack, some other roadmap to eventually unblock what we needed in order to get to our desired outcome. So at this point, I'll introduce myself. My name is Vargas. I am a founding engineer at Vellum, and today I want to talk and maybe convince you that it's time to stop renting your developer, and we now live at the time where we can start owning our software. What does this mean? What is the alternative? LLMs have provided us this crazy opportunity to be able to generate whatever we want, whenever we want it, however interface we want it, in a cost structure that is finally attainable, finally parallel to like whatever our actual work is, and we can finally start to build interfaces that we intend for ourselves rather than some other product manager thinks that we might want and needs to get on like calls with us in order to reckon with. This is a little bit of like what this looks like in an abstract way in our org. We on the left there's a bunch of the common SaaS applications that you might be used to, Notion, Webflow, HubSpot, etc. And on the right, we have a bunch of these personal assistants that we each have at Vellum. We have Pax the cactus up there, the cowboy cactus, and we got a couple of our like little blobs down here. And these are unfamiliar to you because they're supposed to be unfamiliar to you because they're our assistants, and they generate software for us for the use cases that we want to deliver and own. And it doesn't have to, and you don't have to use like a custom assistant like Claude Code and Codex and all these agentic harnesses will work. But the key idea is that you, instead of like using traditional SaaS for all the current workflows that you use day to day, we can now like generate custom interfaces for ourselves. Why is this so powerful? These assistants or these agents, they speak your language in a way that other companies try to but can't do so at scale. The agents have access to your context, your company lingo, the concepts that are prevalent throughout your Slack and your docs. And it's not like it's like not a generic SaaS dashboard that some other company made. It's something that's like really embedded into your org and can generate what you need. They start to compound very exponentially, like every day, because you start creating processes and scripts and pipelines that the assistants themselves can keep using, and you can start to work into not just like the first app that you prototype, but every subsequent app that you prototype from there. And probably the biggest benefit is that you own the whole stack. So if something goes wrong or if you're blocked somewhere, like it's not completely inaccessible to you. You're not in a state where you sit on your hands and wait for the other party. You can like go in directly and figure out what went wrong, how can we patch it, and throw your assistants at the problem too, to patch it for the next day. The shift from going from renting to owning is not free. It takes a ton of time to invest in the infrastructure around your assistants to be able to cook up your personal software. There's a lot of maintenance that you have to undergo, because it's not going to be bug free. But one thing that's crazy is that because it's your software and it's software that you own, you have a much higher tolerance for bugs and things that would block you from a notion or a shortcut or a linear blocks you even less when it's your own product that you can just move it to the side. You can just you have the flexibility to change the widgets in such a way to continue getting the root value that you need. How to start? I implore or encourage leaders of orgs to be quite liberal with their token budgets. These things are employees are going to mess up, and the prototypes are going to mess up. You're going to want to go through many iterations of the custom software you build until you land on something that feels right and it feels net positive for what you're going for. Create spaces for people to share and demo and maybe like show and tells or brown bags for people to share what they're building, so that other people can take inspiration. The blank page syndrome is very real, though I argue that assistants are also great at that. You can just tell them hey, I have this vague problem. How do I tackle this? And then the biggest thing is I would invest in dev boxes, EC2s or compute instances that people can put their assistants on. They can host servers there, and from there you can open up any sort of applications, store credentials for API access, create a dedicated sandbox for people to start storing their custom apps to use from there. When it comes to what to prioritize, I like to start really simple. I probably review somewhere around 50 to 100 PRs a day. The interface for PR review at this point, I think, has grown stale. Everything is still sorted alphabetically and in a non-narrative way, and navigating a PR is still still very 2010s, and it's not really has not really caught up to agentic flows, and so that was a pain that I felt every day, and so that I encourage people to think about like what is the friction that you hit every day, and what is like the first prototype that you can go to start solving that. And so I had Apollobot, who's my trusty purple dinosaur up there in the top left, to build me a new like GitHub PR interface. And I expect this to be unintelligible to most people here, but it's highly personal to me, and I can understand what's going on. It's giving me a narrative description of like what's going on instead of like a line by line alphabetical retelling of the PR, and it's giving me a hyper specific retelling of like what matters in this PR and why it wants to merge it into the code base. It's still, as I mentioned, it's not free. It's like owning your software is still really expensive, but the costs are dropping rapidly. The models are getting better. People are open sourcing more and more software, and the infrastructure is becoming more and more a commodity, such that like it's getting cheaper than ever to own your stack than before. Meanwhile, renting is going to keep going up because inflation keeps going up, our needs and desires keep going up, and these two forces make it such that while it still might be more expensive on the whole, in like an absolute sense, to own your software, the amount of progress that LLMs have made to cut the gap makes it all the more compelling reason to start today and start early to like ride the wave of these continual forces. And so yeah, that's all I got. Here are the socials. We are really excited to, we'll be launching our personal assistants tomorrow, actually. I have a QR code here for the first 50 people who want to sign up and give it a shot. But yeah, thank you Amal and everyone else, and I'll take any questions.
All right, thank you, Vargas. I actually do have a question. So the idea of reinventing GitHub's PR interface, actually, I totally get that, because that thing absolutely is horrendous. It's super laggy, it's really, really slow, and I just hate the damn thing. How did you actually go about doing that? Like, do you have any tips and tricks for somebody who's like, okay, I have to depend on this part of this piece of infrastructure that I'm currently renting from somebody else? Like, did you just throw an agent at it and it just managed to spit out something perfect? Or do you have any tips or tricks or anything that you could use, or any advice that you might have for somebody who's like, all right, tomorrow I'm going to reinvent the GitHub PR interface?
Yeah, the dedicated dev box or dedicated compute instance is like the first step that I would encourage anyone to start with. You start with a dev box, put an agent on there, put it in a loop, give it some file edit, file read tools, and then let it cook. So once you have the dev box, the agent will build you a server. That server will have API endpoints. You also put some credentials in there that you should have separate from the actual agent loop. And then the agent will cook up some API routes. Now you can use those API routes to take your GitHub credentials and then go and pull up the GitHub assets that you need. You can scale that up, you can generalize that for any like custom app that you want to start replacing. A lot of these applications have APIs for you to start rendering your own UIs. So the two main things you need are a place to put the server and a place to host the credentials to run those routes.
Sense, thanks. Yeah, right over here. Sorry, I'm gonna squeeze back over there.
Cool, this was a very nice talk. One of the questions that I had was regarding what are your thoughts regarding updates? When you were talking about bugs, I was thinking about, well, if I'm like in the context of buying versus renting, it's like, well, if I'm not getting any update, that means that what I have right now is not, like going to break when something else gets released. But at the same time, it's like if there's a critical vulnerability that is found or something that that I choose to own myself, then that means that nobody else is going to patch that for me. So I wonder what your thoughts are there.
Yeah, two thoughts there. one, the agent lives in the application that you're developing, so it has access to stack traces, it has access to logs, and so when things break, you can just be like, hey, the logs are in data/logs.foo.log, and you figure out what happened and just patch it. So it has the information it needs to like self-update. There's a second angle, which if you're using some external library or external service, these assistants are really good at merge conflicts and consolidating rebases and such. And so that concept extends to given a base app, some update was released, you give it the context of what that update was, and it has the context of its changes locally, it should be able to generally be able to consolidate between what it's pulling down and what exists.
By the way, I love your shirt. This shirt says, "You're absolutely right." I think that's hilarious. That's right, you can follow me.
Yeah, so just a very quick follow-up. Are you thinking about those updates in terms of like automated, in the sense that as soon as a new update comes out, or as soon as like some critical security vulnerability comes out, like the agent immediately has that kind of context and is, like starting to work on that update right away?
Yeah, it depends on the context. The automatic updates could be scary because not only because you patch security vulnerabilities, you can also like pull down security vulnerabilities,
yeah.
and often we like to, at least at Vellum, we like to keep all of our semvers hard-coded and not like carroted for that reason. I generally am not having it scour for updates because again, all the features that I guess need or want, I have already like asked my assistant of it, and the updates that I think you'll find that the updates that you do generally care about are the ones that like you like ask your assistant of, and very rarely is there going to be like an update out in the world made for somebody else that is going to be needed to come and solve your problem.
I think we're... Sorry.
Thank you.